We want to welcome you all to our very first Let's Talk Family. This is the launch, and we hope to have this kind of program once a month to our live audience here today and also to our YouTube viewers. Welcome to Let's Talk Family Life. Today we are going to talk about conflict within the family. We're going to have a closer look at how our personalities affect the way we handle conflict, and how our understanding of our personalities within the family, how that can alleviate some of the conflict that we experience. Conflict, they say, it's inevitable. As long as sin exists, conflict will exist. Conflict is one of the main reasons why families find themselves broken, why marriages are breaking up. Conflict, inability to accurately or correctly handle or manage conflict in our relationships is the cause of a lot of unhappiness, a lot of sadness, a lot of broken hearts, and a lot of broken families. So I think this is a very relevant topic. We want to thank you again for coming out today, the live audience. We want to thank our YouTube viewers for tuning in today, and we trust that you're going to enjoy the time together. For our live audience, we want to remind you that we are going to have a live Q&A at the end of our session here in front. So be ready. If you have questions, jot them down so that they don't slip. We will have a roving mic that will come to you, and we will hear those questions. For our YouTube viewers, we're not going to exclude you. We want to encourage you. If you are sitting at the moment on the couch in your lounge watching YouTube on television, maybe just grab your cell phone, grab your iPad or your tablet or your laptop so that you can interact with us. We would like to hear from you. We would like to know where you're watching from. We would like to know some of your comments. We would like to know if you have questions. Our team will be following the comments and the questions, and they will relay that to us. And so we want it all to be included. Even though you're watching from far, you are still near here with us. Right, so may we have guests here today. And we have Renier and Chantell, old friends of ours, here today. I'm going to ask you guys to just very quickly introduce yourself. Tell us about your family. Tell us about your ministry that you are engaged in.
So I'll tell about the ministry, and Chantell can tell about the family. So you can introduce our family.
Yes, I must have it.
You can go first.
Okay, so I'm Chantell Horn, and I'm married to Renier.
Amen.
We have been in ministry ever since we've been married. We've been married almost 13 years, and we've been in ministry for 13 years.
Wow.
So we actually both met each other in full-time ministry. When we met, we were already both individually in full-time ministry, so it made obvious sense to continue in full-time ministry. So we actually don't know any other way but this way. And we have two boys, Jonathan and Matthew. They are almost 8 and almost 6 years old. And we have become not a couple ministry anymore, but we've become a family ministry. And so once a month we travel as a family to wherever the Lord takes us, and the kids go with, and we minister as a family.
And before you get to the ministry, Renier, how do you cope? How do you manage as mother, as ministry partner, you know, the demands?
A lot of prayer. I will be honest, it isn't always easy. It takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of planning. So we always have a little bit of a giggle. We will delve into the personalities a little bit later, but I'm very strong melancholic, and melancholics are strong in their lists. And so I have a list for a list for a list. But I think it comes with its challenges, like every work does, every calling does. It comes with its challenges. but the blessings goes beyond the challenges. And I must be honest, with my kids being the age that they are now, there is no other way, because they want to know nothing about staying at home.
Oh, right.
So if an event comes up and I say, well, maybe we should consider not going with, I'm outvoted.
They excited?
Yes, the boys,
Oh,
they
wow.
absolutely love doing full-time ministry with us. And it's amazing to see how God even uses little children to minister to people in very spontaneous, organic ways, just by writing a letter, drawing a picture,
Right.
giving it to someone, and then afterwards hearing that that was that person's first time in the church. So, yeah, I think it's a beautiful example for our children, and we are very blessed as a family to do it. Yeah.
So sorry for staying on family, but little Matthew
Yes.
is 9 years old.
He's,
Five.
he's turning 6.
Sorry, Jonathan.
Jonathan is 7, turning 8.
Yes, he is turning 8.
Yes,
All right.
only in November, yeah.
Yeah, so he shared with me his desire for wanting to get baptized.
Yes, yes.
You guys know about that?
Yes,
Yes, he's been-
definitely. He's been prepared for the last 2 years.
All right.
So I do studies with him every morning with both of them.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, they can't read as well yet. So Chantell actually came up with the idea of putting Bible studies together in pictures and laminating
Wow.
it. Then I tell them the doctrine,
Uh-huh.
and they must repeat
In
it. And only
pictures.
when they do it well with no mistakes, I move to the next study.
Wow.
So I've moved, I think we've done about 38 studies already. So they know all the doctrines, they know what the beast is, mark of the beast, everything. They've gone through it. So, and then he mentioned to us the other day, he wants to get baptized.
Wow.
He's actually been asking for 2 years already,
Sure.
Yes.
but
That's
he's
awesome.
adamant.
That's awesome. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Great.
Definitely.
Renier, tell us about your ministry.
Yeah, so the ministry is the preparation ministry. You can go into YouTube, Facebook, you'll find us there, or find me on Facebook to follow us to see what we are doing. So as Chantell says, we travel a lot to do the Lord's ministry, and we do especially marriage seminars become very popular. We are booked until September next year to travel and preach at various churches around the
Right.
country and other side of the country. So that's what gets me excited, to work with couples, to work with audiences. And Chantell plays a vital role, because after I preach, she does also presentations, but obviously I do more.
All right.
Then my brain is normally tired and I just want to go and sit and do nothing. Then she takes over. She connects with, especially the ladies, with the people. And then the boys obviously connects with the children. And then people's response normally is the entire family
All right.
has had an impact.
Right.
I think it's interesting for me, just to, before he goes on, to mention that there's been a few times when we've traveled that there's people that specifically makes a comment about them actually acknowledging that it actually takes our packing up the whole family, moving to a different location, and we've seen how that actually touched people, that you are willing to go through that kind of effort to bring the gospel.
Wow.
And I think
And
people...
most of the time you don't know where you're staying. You don't know who you're staying with. Luckily, more and more they're coming, oh, do you want to stay in this Airbnb? And like, yes, cool. we'll stay
Right.
there. But
You have some
most of the
space.
time, especially when our children were younger, I'm talking about babies. You arrive at people's home, then Jonathan starts throwing up the whole weekend.
Oh, mercy.
Because for whatever reason at that area it happened. It was actually Newcastle when we still stayed in Cape Town. Oh, sorry, no, Eastern Cape. So he like vomited the whole weekend.
Oh.
And Chantell was sitting with this baby. We're staying in other people's house, the Langers. I don't know if you know them, Susan De Lange. We're staying in their house. And I still have to preach. You're not sleeping at night. Now you need to go and preach the next day. You come home, your son's still vomiting. Your wife is in a state because the child is vomiting and someone else is home. I sit in the bath with the child and he starts vomiting. And Chantell goes and calls Susan. I'm like, hello, I'm in the bath. Close the door. So yeah,
That's the
fascinating.
joys of ministry.
Fascinating stories when it comes to family ministry, but I wouldn't want it otherwise.
All right.
So I'm just curious, you have a keen interest in personalities, it seems, and that
Yes.
seems to form a big part of your ministry. You want to tell
Yes.
us just a bit about that before we delve more into that?
So we never used to have an interest in it. It was always, just what the Bible says. And family ministry, we did our first marriage seminar. I remember we were like 3 years married. invited us to Namibia. You sit there, you're like, we're married 3 years. And we sat there, what are we going to do? And the Lord impressed us what to do, right there on the spot. I said to Chantell, the Lord just impressed me, we must do this. And she said, I just had the same impression. We did it with those couples. We had a wonderful time with them at the end of the day. But in any case, so we used to obviously talk a lot about the gospel, etc., even though this is still woven into the personalities. Until about, 4 years ago, we did a seminar in East London. And the people we stayed at, the guy told me about the personalities. And I thought that was interesting. So Pastor Donovan Greek would come and visit, and he would say, he's that personality, and he would say that. I thought it was interesting, but I just left it as interesting. Then we moved to KZN. Oh no, we already stayed in KZN. I think we moved here. Yeah, we moved here, so it's 5 years ago. And then, I normally tell audiences, marriage can be so easy. If my wife just does what I say all the time, we will never have issues. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Do you have a rolling pin here somewhere?
I just had a joke. Zandri just told me a joke before they left for lunch. She said, if you ever want to make your wife laugh, just look in the eyes and tell her, I'm the boss of this house. And she laughed. It's like, that's funny.
Because that is a joke.
Because it's a joke.
It is a joke.
But in any case, so because we have such different backgrounds, so that plays a role, and different personalities, we had these arguments that I don't want the elders or the pastor to see. And they have the same ones. They don't want the others to see. And I couldn't understand it. We're eating healthy. We have cut out anything worldly that we believe shouldn't be in the house. Some people might come and say, oh, that also needs to go. But what we believe shouldn't be there. We're trying to do God's will to the best of our ability. And always growing more and more and more. But yet, we now this ministry couple.
It's just not happening.
And we have this, and there was a time where it was like every week. If it happens once a month, you can deal with it easier, but it was like every week. I couldn't understand what was going on. And I was on my knees the one morning, the Lord impressed me, go back to what you heard in East London.
Wow.
So I bought a book, and I bought another book, and I started studying online. I was just studying every morning. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I was studying the personalities. And as I was studying, the Lord impressed me and said, go now to the Bible and see if it's there. And I saw the Bible saturated with this stuff. You got 4 Gospels, 4 personalities, 4 horsemen, 4 personalities, 4 name changes, 4 personalities. And as I looked at each one in detail, I could see, it's literally the personalities are in the Bible. Of course, we got it from God. Because it's in your genes. It's innate. You can't switch it off or on. It doesn't go away when, some people ask me, does my personality change when I'm older? No, it can't. It's in your genes. You just get more sanctified.
Yeah.
So God takes your strengths and He sanctifies it, and that's what changes. That's the part that He changes. Ellen White says, God does not give us new faculties, He sanctifies the old ones, and it's in the context of character. So He takes me and He sanctifies me. He doesn't make me into someone that I'm not. It's already there. He just activates it through a surrendered life to Him, in any case.
Amen.
So I started studying it, and I could see, this is why we struggle. It's because she is what we call a highly sensitive person, very high blue personality, melancholic, and I'm the strong red, no emotions, don't like feelings. Why are we crying about this if we can just talk? No crying needed. And for her, the emotions is so high, she needs to cry about it. And so that's why we clash, because we actually, according to the professionals, are incompatible. But in God's eyes, there's no such thing when He puts people together. So that led us to study it. So now it's been 4 years, at least 3 years of traveling. It's really become very popular at churches. This is mainly what we do now at our churches.
It has, absolutely has. So we want to then look now, get into the topic for today. Look at conflict and how it affects our relationships in our families. You mentioned, you guys were all the time just clashing. It's just happening. And then things started becoming clearer. You had to make a conscious decision to begin to understand your wife. And it is in understanding her, how God shaped her, the personality that she has, that you could begin. You may not agree, I presume, but you can understand when she reacts or whatever. So let's bring this to general conflict. Conflict happens in marriages, in all relationships. There's conflict. I have a question here. Why do we have conflict? And maybe a rhetorical question, is conflict healthy?
So there are a couple of reasons, and this slides on the screen also why we have conflict. My wife can talk to that one and to that one. I'll talk to the first one and the third one. So the first reason is because of our selfish human nature. My way, my rights, my opinions, my interests. Because we all approach life through my personality and my past experience. So we look at life through those lenses. If anyone looks through a different lens, their lens is wrong.
Yeah.
Mine's
All
wrong.
right.
And we all do this on different levels. We might say, oh, no, it's not that way. No, it is that way. Because that's why we have conflict, because you're telling the person, but I see it this way, and they're seeing it a different way. And so we are different in how we were created, and then obviously because of sin. So it's that self that comes in. And then maybe you want to talk to that one.
Okay, so just from a past trigger point of view, we are all raised differently. If I just take Renier and myself as a couple, we come from very different backgrounds in the sense that my parents got divorced when I was 16 years old. His parents are still together. So that brought a dynamic into our relationship, which, you know, things are viewed differently because obviously my parents being divorced, my father was a very absent figure in my life, so my mom was the stronger figure. And so, how can I say, I was also raised strong, if I can put it like that. Even though I am a more emotional being, I am more sensitive, I am also strong, opinionated, if I could put it like that. And where in his house was like if his dad had the last say, that was the last say. I'll never forget.
Yeah, tell that story.
I'll never forget, we were just married, I think we were maybe married a year or a couple of months or something like that. And we were staying at my parents' house. And if I say my parents, I'm talking about my mom and my stepdad, because she had already remarried before I even met Renier. So we're staying at my parents' house in my bedroom, and my cat was still alive, but staying with my mom. And I am very allergic to cats and dogs, but I had a cat. And the cat would come in the room because the cat's used to coming in the room. And I remember we had a quite heated discussion about the cat being in the room.